Julian Assange. This is such a great point. Julian Assange says, our beliefs about the world and each other have been created by the same system that has lied us into repeated wars that have killed millions. So maybe the system that creates our beliefs is fucked up, and we should throw it overboard and create our own beliefs. That's what I think. Okay. Yes. Your culture, your religion, your government are not your friend. Okay. Here is Assange in 2016 election. He says it's like choosing between cholera and gonorrhea.
Right, and this is what everyone chooses to forget when they say he was in bed with Trump or something. It's quotes like that. Those get left behind.
Personally, I would prefer neither, said the WikiLeaks founder. That's who Julian Assange is. And so now here is Pamela Anderson, and
by the way, you know how whenever after a relationship with you, someone turns gay, happens to me many times. You then question like, what did I do that made? Well, Kid Rock's got to be like, what did I? Because after Kid Rock, she became fucking awesome.
She became way more awesome than Kid Rock, that's for sure. Kid Rock, I'm a rebel, king, ding, vote Republican, ding, ding. The fuck? You're the opposite of a rock star, you idiot. Here's a real rock star, Pamela Anderson, and who knew, right? Who knew? So she went on The View, and of course, Meghan McCain, who's very accomplished, it wasn't like she was handed a job by an ABC producer for nothing. She was one of John McCain's sperm. That's a great accomplishment. And so here she is going to give her shit about Julian Assange, because Pamela Anderson is a big supporter of Julian Assange because, I don't know, maybe she isn't an idiot, maybe because she reads the news, maybe because she knows the fucked up world we live in and the price that truth tellers have to pay. Maybe that's why she's a fan of his. I don't know why, but she's a fan of his and she cares about him. And here's what Meghan McCain said to him.
When you were visiting him, he was allegedly kicked out of the Ecuadorian embassy because he was defecating everywhere and creating messes.
No, that's
This is your thing. Hey, the guy's pooping. I don't like Julian Assange. Why? He's a pooper. Can you think of a dumber, more shallow reason? No, that's it. That's most. There you go.
And they couldn't.
That's not true.
There was video of things that happened. I mean, I don't.
What would you do if you were locked in a room for
just really quick
6 years?
Well, I wouldn't be a cyber terrorist, which he is. He hacked information.
First of all, let me say about Meghan McCain, where she comes from, and this is exactly a privileged person who's never had to do. Her father was so rich, her father forgot how many houses he owned. That's a fact. He forgot how many.
Yeah, he thought maybe it was 12, but he wasn't sure.
He wasn't sure. Folks, I smoke a lot of pot. But I can tell you, I could smoke a pound of the chronic. You ask me how many houses I own? I would know. I own half a house. And if I forget to clear my browser history, I'll own 0 houses.
His leaks included classified documents that put our national security at risk, our military,
you know who
and the
put
lives of
national security
spies
at risk
and diplomats.
So in 15 seconds of this video, Meghan McCain has admitted she likes to watch scat video. And she's going to watch this.
Is the military. How many people have the American government killed innocently, and how many has WikiLeaks?
I love it when a bombshell drops truth bombs.
Yeah. Wait, who else is going to come on The View and tell the truth about the wars we're in? Kathy Ireland?
So you think the military is putting the government at risk?
The military.
So the difference between Pamela Anderson and Meghan McCain is that Pamela Anderson doesn't have to read what she's saying off a fucking note sheet. Okay.
So you think the military is putting the government at risk?
The military has put many innocent lives at risk.
Oh, calm down, sir. For real,
Oh, calm down, sir. We're only talking about innocent people being fucking murdered. Calm down. What's your problem? Okay, here we go.
actually genuinely
There are
curious
war
about
crimes
your
that need to be-
relationship with
there's
him.
And Meghan McCain is indignant in the way only a rich girl who's never had to work for anything and had the world given to her on a platter. That's who fucking Meghan McCain is, by the way. And
She only has 5 houses, so, you know, she's poor.
Hard times.
War crimes need to be punished, and they haven't. The war crimes that he's exposed, no one's done anything about it, but they put him in jail to shut him up.
Are you
because
talking
he is
about the 210 video of the helicopter
Right.
fire killing civilians in Iraq?
Yeah, well, that's one thing, but there's so many other things that he's exposed, and it's not just America he's exposed.
Well-
He's exposed Russia. He's exposed all sorts of different countries.
That's a controversial area, Russia. A lot of people say that that
So here comes Joy Behar, the good progressive on The View.
I also love the let's surround and attack model of a talk show. Let's fucking pile 7 people onto one person who came to defend a political prisoner.
Well, that's why they call it The View, Lee, because all the women on it have the exact same fucking point of view. It's just one point of view. It's the pro-corporate, pro-war point of view. You show me one piece of evidence.
This is actually the perfect example of how our media will act like there's legitimate debate on a subject, but they're all pro-war, right? They're all pro-business, they're all pro-corporate, they're all pro-Wall Street. So you act like, oh wow, they're yelling at each other a lot. That must be the entirety of human thought right there. It's like, no, you can be for peace. You can be for ending the bombing around the world. You can be for not a bomb being dropped every 12 minutes. But they won't allow that on our media channels.
the Mueller report, that Assange interfered in the 2016 election by conspiring with Russia by releasing hacked emails.
You know, that document produced by a fucking piece of shit liar, a guy who lied us into the Iraq war, he also wrote another document that implicated Julian Assange. What do you fucking think about that? I think you're a fucking dunce, Joy Behar, and you don't have a fucking lick of fucking skepticism about the shit the government says. And if you were really a good progressive, you'd fucking walk off that show and take your $1 million and start a new show that debunks this fucking bullshit show.
And if she knew anything about what the Mueller report actually said, it actually didn't prove that.
It didn't.
And Aaron Mate did a brilliant takedown of the terminology used to say, like, maybe, like, there's multiple points where it's like, a Russian guy may have brought something to Julian Assange. And it's like, why would you say may have if you're proving collusion? Because you don't fucking know. You don't actually know. And in fact, most of the evidence that's come forward has shown it was a leak from the DNC, not a fucking hack. And one more point. I love that the DNC, Donna Brazile said after the supposed hack, the DNC destroyed the servers before ever giving them to the FBI, before even giving them to CrowdStrike, the DNC hired fucking analysts. They destroyed the servers because, you know, that's what you do when you walk on a scene of a crime. You fucking destroy the evidence, and then if I come across a dead body, I chop it up, throw it in a river, and then I call the police, and I'm like, some shit went down here.
Well said.
Which hurt Hillary Clinton. It's almost like, is he responsible for giving us Trump? I mean...
Yeah, is Julian Assange responsible for... That's Joy Behar, the good progressive. No, again, it wasn't Hillary Clinton, her shitty campaign, 50 years of neoliberalism that threw fucking workers overboard. No. It was Julian Assange and Susan Sarandon. I'm pretty sure those are the 2 most powerful people. This is literally what's being said. Okay.
Yeah,
timing and the way
the timing, but you know, Hillary Clinton is responsible for Trump.
Yes. 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 And it turns out I've been so wrong my whole life. It turns out the most attractive blonde is the most informed, smartest person in the fucking room.
I'd also love to know the word count between the two sides. It's like 700 to 4.
Yeah.
And yet she's destroying them. This is like when the two, guys are with karate and one of them's like, and the other guy's just like, gah.
It's kind of like when Harrison Ford just pulled out the gun with that guy.
She's the one that she
timing,
because
though. Why is
yeah,
he
but
a
it's
Trump
true information.
supporter?
When
Is he
she
a,
wa- but
is
would-
he a
no,
Trump supporter?
no,
Well, then
I was
why
with
would-
him.
Why
A lot
would
of people think
then
he
why
is.
would he help Trump?
Well, he wasn't helping Trump. He was trying to tell the American people true information that Hillary Clinton was doing. So that
Why would Daniel Ellsberg not help Nixon? I don't understand. This is ridiculous. This is on TV. These are people who are paid millions of dollars to talk about the news. It's called The View. Joy Behar has access to the internet just like the rest of us, and she's sitting here saying, why is Julian Assange helping Trump? I don't get. But Jim Acosta. That's how fucking ridiculous these people are on TV. That's why you get put on TV, because you're not a deep thinker. You don't actually know what's going on, and you can only repeat corporate talking points. And that's who fucking Joy Behar is. She's not a good fucking progressive, and I'm not gonna apologize for her. She's a corporatist, and she's pushing bullshit. I apologized to her once before, and fucking never again after this. Never again.
make an educated choice.
Wait a
And I
second.
think FBI kind of put the nail in that coffin.
But do you mean to tell me that he had nothing on Trump? Come on. And that didn't get released.
I don't know. I don't know if he had something on Trump, he would have put it out there.
And also that
But
what
he-
So what? Can I just ask you, what does my panel say about that stupid bullshit charge that why didn't Trump put out something on Trump? Well, I mean, why didn't Julian Assange put out something on Trump? Well, Julian Assange, I know for a fucking fact, put out a ton of shit on Russia, right?
Right. Well, first of all, why would he need to put out anything on Trump? They're already putting it out every day.
Yes.
Like, you knew about the grab him by the pussy, right? That didn't stop him. And all the shit they know about Trump, at the end of the day, he still hated Hillary more. So fuck it. It had nothing to do with it. And if he had it, he would have released it, I'm sure.
It's
Since
like,
he's
why,
releasing it.
why don't you put out some bad information on the guy who shoots himself in the cock before he gets out of bed? It's like, hey, I'm gonna tweet.
I mean, Central
Right here.
Park 5, we got not letting black people rent the apartments in New York or whatever. Like, everyone knew all this shit about Trump. Nothing was hidden, right?
Everything he did, we knew.
was all in open.
and the stuff that we didn't know, like his tax returns, Assange didn't fucking have them.
Yeah.
So it's like, why didn't you put out his tax? He doesn't just have all the information.
That shit wouldn't have mattered anyway,
What
right?
are you talking about?
It wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered, right?
And the one contact with Trump Jr. that he had, they tried to use that against him like he was colluding with the Trump campaign. Actually, he was saying to Trump Jr., hey, I think you should give me your dad's tax returns so I can release them. So literally, he was trying to get more information on Trump, and it just didn't work.
That's exactly right. That is the great point. Like, he has all the information. Like Julian Assange, should I release the Trump information? No.
And look at how effectively the media buries what is actually the scandal here. And that is that there's one political party that did unequivocally proven rig an American election in 2016. And there's evidence, there's confessions, there's documentation. And it's not the Republican Party, and it's not the Russians, it's the Democrats. And what Julian Assange and WikiLeaks did is that they exposed that. And that's what the media calls rigging the election in favor of Trump.
Exposing that other people rigged the election.
Exactly.
I know, it's crazy. Thank you, Nick. Fantastic.
And there's also been court cases in New York. They had to plead guilty to wiping 200,000 Bernie voters from the fucking rolls in Brooklyn, all right? That was in court. This is not just...
But Lee, they got punished for that. They had to promise not to do it again.
Yeah.
That's the truth. That is the
It's true. And in court, they admitted that they have a right to rig the primary. That was their proud statement. We have a right to rig the primary.
Had to wrestle
Released
with
her
that.
emails. I mean, the question I
They were
have
true
though is
emails.
like,
She wrote
what would
them,
you
so.
say to? I know, but that doesn't mean everything should be. The question I have though is like spies that go out and put their lives at risk, like Congressman Will Hurd, who we were just talking about, who's dedicated decades of his life to helping fight terrorism. It's classified information. I believe is classified for a reason. I do have some faith in the U.S. government, although as a conservative, I have less.
I have faith in them to bomb poor people in other countries. I don't have faith in them to give us health care. That's what I'm like. That's who she is. Okay, that's a fucking great joke, and it went right past everyone in here.
Faith normally than liberals do. So what would you say to the spies who are putting themselves at risk for our national security?
I would say don't fucking put yourself at risk for bullshit wars. That's what I would say. I would say stop doing that. I would say stop allowing yourself to be used as a cog in an evil wheel of fucking destruction and murder around the world for corporate profits when we invade another country and steal their natural. I would tell them to stop fucking doing that. Maybe start spying on behalf of the people against the fucking corporation. That's what I would tell them to do. Maybe start exposing the military-industrial complex. Spy on them. That's what I would say. And what would you say?
Well, and by the way, that idea that, I have respect for my government, everything that's classified is classified for a reason. Talk to former CIA agent John Kiriakou. He said they fucking classify everything. They classify that they had lunch that day. He's like, no, there's so much shit that's not classified for a reason. So that's bullshit. And secondly, he can tell you, fucking no one has died based on what WikiLeaks revealed. No one has died.
No one has died because of what Julian Assange has done. No one. In fact, he saved lots of lives. That's a fact. That's a fact. Yeah, this whole thing of that. What about the spies he's putting no one at risk. They can never say that Chelsea Manning put anybody at risk, Edward Snowden put any at risk, or Julian Assange. And they want to fucking kill all of them. And Chelsea Manning's in jail right fucking now. And does Meghan McCain care about her? No.
Frank Drake, NSA executive, who was a whistleblower before Snowden, and who actually is the reason that Snowden actually left the country and chose to go public instead of going through the prescribed mechanisms like going to the congressional committees, and going to the ombudsman of the NSA. What happened to him is that the NSA and the government retroactively classified documents that he was pointing out to journalists. Speaking about overclassification.
And speaking of going through the legitimate channels, that's what they always get on Snowden about. He didn't go through the legitimate channels. You know how many? It was in a fucking Pentagon report. It was buried in the tiny print. You know how many whistleblowers have come forward to the Inspector General at the Pentagon over the past few years? Nearly 100,000 whistleblower complaints. Less than 1% are even investigated, and most of those are fucking shut down. So the idea that you can go through legitimate channels is laughable. It's bullshit.
Yeah. Right. It's almost as laughable. Yes. It's almost as laughable as the ideas that Meghan McCain earned her way onto that show.
Your relationship with him.
Well, I don't think there's nothing proven that he's actually put anybody at risk. They've gone through this over and over again, and I think that people like Edward Snowden, Chelsea Manning are heroes, and Julian Assange is a publisher. Who knows?
I disagree with that, though. I think he is putting people at risk. If he's putting the war criminals in the government at risk, he's putting big corporations, he's putting big banks at risk. I think he's putting the right people at risk.
Exactly.
Thanks that.
But also, Pam, he put people in danger by refusing to redact sensitive information, including social security numbers and other private.
She's fucking read. She has to
I
read
know,
it. She's
they're all
reading.
reading.
But I got to tell you this from my heart. He redacted several. I'm the progressive. I'm the one with the alternative point of view, which happens to line up perfectly with Meghan McCain.
She's like, I just spoke with the CIA agent who came to allow us to do this segment, and he said,
and what did he say?
Material.
Well, I think New York Times and everybody else put out the same information. I think they actually put it out even before him. I think he redacted more than they did. So it's a big thing.
That's not written down here. I don't know.
She's like, I was supposed to ask that question, and you were supposed to short circuit and fall over. I don't know what to do now. I didn't prepare for this.
fucking hate these women so much.
Well, it's not a
can't tell
conversation.
you.
It's become an inquisition.
This isn't an interview. This isn't a conversation to help bring out ideas and thoughts. This isn't Joy Behar going, now you have an interesting point because you say this. She doesn't do that. She doesn't fucking do any of that. All she does, she sounds like Chris Cuomo. She sounds like Jake Tapper. She sounds as bad as Rachel Maddow and Chris Hayes. She sounds fucking horrible. She is a tool of a fucking corporation, an evil wheel of death, which is the military-industrial complex, which is persecuting fucking journalists right now. And she's doing it. Joy Behar is fucking doing it as loud as anybody. Fuck her and her fucking ridiculous...
As he sipped out of his martini glass. That was a great punchline.
This is made by Sustainable Workforce.
True information is true information, and I think that he's obviously he's gone where no man has gone before.
So
we're used to business as usual.
What I'd love to know is what was he trying?
Okay, all right, hand it over to me. Now I'm going to say some stupid bullshit.
I wouldn't want you guys to have all the stupid time. Let me jump right in and say something really fucked up. No facts at all. Here we go.
To do? What was his point? Because he really...
What was his point? Leave it to Whoopi to miss the fucking entire point. When you prove the U.S. government is committing war crimes, Whoopi is searching her head wondering, what is his point? Okay.
He actually did hurt quite a few people. He actually did.
Yeah, again, the people he hurt were bankers, the fucking military-industrial complex, warmongers, assholes, fascists. That's who he hurt. He didn't hurt regular people. So when Whoopi says that, she's just full of shit. She's factually incorrect. She's reading from a talking point written by a guy being paid by the fucking military-industrial complex. And that's who Whoopi Goldberg is. She's not a good person. She's not smarter than you. She's not better than you. She's fucking worse than you because she's doing the bidding of evil fucking death-warming corporations. Am I right about this, my panel?
You're right, but it's also worse than that because Whoopi is a black woman, man. She represents something to the black community. I mean, I remember growing up watching her comedy shit. My mom know her. People, they respect her. They look up to her. And when she's given a privileged position to be there, one of the few black people on the stage, and you just fucking cave in, man. You just go along with it. It's like you lie, spread that propaganda to people who are not going to be educated, who actually believe in her. Like, I don't know how many people really trust Joy Behar, but there are a lot of black folks who really fucking trust Whoopi Goldberg, man. So, and that's the thing when it's not just Whoopi, it's like when Spike Lee or these other people, these people are icons in my community. Fuck them all, right? Fuck them all. But that's why I go so hard at them because they know this. They know they are betraying their community in a way that's astronomically different than just when Jay Behar. What the fuck?
Jay Behar.
And one last thing, Jimmy. And when Meghan McCain is talking this shit, I'm also thinking, she's also a horrible Republican. I mean, Julian Assange, he really hurt the Democrats inadvertently. Like, he put this information out. She's not even supporting the fact it showed how corrupt her opposition party is. Right. That's how corrupt she is. That she doesn't give a fuck that this makes the DNC look horrible. She's still against Julian.
Because it's one party, Tim. It's one party.
One party.
And it's the party of war.
And it's a war party. You're right, Steph. Great point. Hey everybody, we're doing a live show every Sunday in October in Hollywood, California at the Sycamore Tavern. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link for tickets and become a patron. We give you hours of bonus material every month. Become a premium member. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com and sign up. Thanks for your support.